This from Doug Poundaley. 3 defensive starters who stood out in the preseason finale. Number 1, Juan Thornhill. Yeah, pick 6 will do that. Number 2, Martin Emerson. And number 3, the Browns' defensive line. Thornhill gives them a presence in the middle of the field they just didn't have. They haven't had in a long time. And the defensive line, you can see that this defense has an identity already.
Yeah, starting with Juan Thornhill, that pick 6. I mean, we haven't seen many Browns defensive players break on the football the way that Juan Thornhill did on that pick 6. It was decisive. He knew he had a good idea was coming, jumped the route, and took that ball in full stride and was on his way to the end zone. And that's what you signed him for, to get a true ball hawking safety that this defense really didn't even have even last season. So I think he with Grant Delpit is a good compliment. Martin Emerson, I mean, that hit that set up that other interception by Rodney McLeod. I mean, there's a reason, the stock of Martin Emerson continues to go up heading into year 2. The idea that, he could potentially sneak his way into Pro Bowl conversation certainly is a possibility. He's got the size. He was great last season as a rookie. The only thing he didn't do was intercept the football. You would imagine with a better defensive line, those picks are coming. And speaking of defensive line, I mean, even though Myles Garrett didn't play in that game, they create a lot of pressure. I mean, I'm sure by now everybody's seen, that viral clip of Zadarius Smith pancaking the one Chiefs right tackle, on that, bull rush. The quarterback's able to get the football out, so it ultimately didn't matter. But, that kind of rush from your number 2 defensive end tells you that, that there's a lot there to work with. Myles Garrett, certainly we all know what he can do. He's going to be turned loose week 1, and now he's got help where he's not going to be he should not be double teamed nearly as much as he was in the past several seasons.
What stood out to you in that final preseason game with the Chiefs?
I think what stood out to me was kind of something I thought like this is a little smaller, but why they ended up trading for Pierre Strong a day later was because the number 3 running back was just not on this roster. We've seen all preseason, Demetric Felton, John Kelly Jr., and Jordan Wilkins have all had their moments to try and seize the job, and none of them did. We remember in the Philly game, John Kelly lost that fumble inside the 5-yard line, something that absolutely cannot happen under any circumstances. Jordan Wilkins had back-to-back missed exchanges with Deshaun Watson, one of which that became a Chiefs field goal. And then, Demetric Felton, fine, but nothing special. If you're out there going for a job, you need to make an impact. You need to show the coaches that, they under no circumstances can afford to let you go. And I felt like none of those guys did that. And the fact that they traded for Pierre Strong a day later is pretty much is proof of that. Whether they go on and get another running back in the next couple of days or keep Demetric Felton potentially because of what's going on with Jerome Ford, we'll see. But I thought that was the thing that stood out. It was a last chance for those guys to take that job. Jordan Wilkins in particular, who I thought was an interesting, pickup late in training camp, but you can't have those 2 fumbles on exchanges because, I mean, if you fumble 30 yards down the field, that's whatever. But you cannot have those problems getting the football in your own backfield. It just simply cannot happen at the NFL level.